PTPOP here with all four lobes of my brain securely bound behind my back, and today I'm going to review a video from a company called Gridspace. The video is Grace, the artificial call center agent. Stay tuned.
Grace! Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?
If you like this video, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, or I'll sicko and go boingo on you. No, better than that. If you don't hit the thumbs up and you don't subscribe, you and your family will be forever banished to a call center. This video is 4 years old. It's from a company called Gridspace. Let's make it big, baby. Let's make it real big. And Gridspace, when you go to their website, which is gridspace.com, in big bold letters says, hire a virtual agent you can trust, with trust highlighted in like an aqua, green, or a blue. Gridspace makes conversational care readily available by providing superior machine talent for patients, customers, and businesses. The company is formed as a collaboration between SRI Speech Labs, the lab behind Siri, and a multidisciplinary team of designers and engineers. So they basically work with AI to work with the general public, customer services, and this video is a promotional video. And this is just of a guy, like a guy tooling around. I guess he's being chauffeured around in some city, and he's calling into his bank on a cell phone to get assistance with his checking account. And he's talking to the auto attendant whose name is Grace. No, they're giving you the impression that this is some important executive driving around, being chauffeured around in a luxury car in some metropolitan area. He's clean cut. He's got nice glasses. He's clean. His beard is trimmed. His hair is combed back. He's got a nice sports coat and a tie on. You know, he's holding his cell phone in his hand. It's obviously sitting in leather interior, that kind of thing. But doesn't this guy looks like this guy. The Anthony Scuderi. Anthony Scuderi previously worked at NASA, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He was the instrument engineer for the REM's and APX's instruments on the Curiosity Mars rover from the development through surface operations. He also worked on the Juno mission to Jupiter, unmanned global Hawk missions, and the Phoenix lander. Anthony has an engineering bachelor's from Stanford in physics and a master's in aeronautics and astronautics. So I think this guy, they said, hey, Anthony, you want to be in this promotional video for the bot you helped to design? I don't know. We've got to basically have a rocket scientist, you know, working at this company. So let's go over the production of this video and the editing behind it and what they're trying to portray here. So it starts off with the company's logo, Gridspace. So they've created a video that is designed to try to appeal to the upper echelons of other companies that have large call centers. They're trying to appeal to chief executive officers, chief information officers, chief financial officers, boards of directors of major companies that have large call centers where they're trying to save money. And one way these companies today are saving money is by laying people off and getting rid of headcount. And one way they're doing this is replacing everybody with bots and with artificial intelligence. Now, they start off with this logo, then they go right to this, I don't know what you call this type of graphic, but this is like, I call it a see-through graphic where it's transparent letters that lets you see through to the next shot, and it's going to be a guy sitting in the back of a luxury vehicle. Actually, I think this is a very amateurish way to appeal to a board of directors. It's a cheap, overdone, cliche way of getting a message out that the following is a real interaction. Well, isn't that implied in the production that it's a real interaction? You don't need to put it there. You know, do you think these boards of directors are really going to believe you to the extent they're going to go, you know, I wonder if that was real. I wonder, hey, Bill, and at the next board meeting, ask if that Grace video was real. You know, I don't think they're going to spend a lot of time worrying about it. And especially these guys at the top probably have people that watch this stuff and say, hey, it's a good video. Let's go talk to these people. Let's go see. Let's have our people talk to their people to get their bot into our call centers to replace the people. So they do a crossfade. I think is it a fade to black or a crossfade? It's a crossfade to this guy sitting in the back of a luxury vehicle, and apparently he's being driven around some metropolitan area. And he's looking placid, calm, self-assured, and he's looking very confident, and he's dialing on his cell phone. Now, the placement of the cameras in this, and I want to educate you about this, because if you don't know about video production, you don't know all the tricks. If you really think, if you're watching this just as an average person, it's highly polished. And you've got to consider a couple things. The audio from the phone, from the bot. The man's being mic'd as well. And you've got at least, it's probably a one camera shoot that they stopped and moved the camera around inside the cockpit of the car. So here you have this guy, he's dialing his cell phone. You got a camera pointing up at him from a low angle. The cameraman is more than likely in the front seat. If this is a sedan, he's in the front seat with a camera angled up from the floorboard, looking up at him. He's got his monitor pointed up at him or her, whoever the camera person is, if it's man or woman or whatever. And it's a very tight shot. So they're probably using, I don't know, like a 75 millimeter lens or something like that, or they have the ability to zoom in on the lens. It's a soft focus. It's meant to look soft. It's meant to look peaceful, reassured, almost like heavenly. So they want you to look at this and go, feel relaxed. They want you to feel assured. They want you to understand that what you're looking at here is an executive being chauffeured around a metropolitan area, because they're trying to appeal to other executives. They're trying to appeal to chief executive officers and presidents and the guys at the board of directors that are spending their weekends at the country club with their mistresses and going to, their jet setting over to Tahiti. I don't know, to throw sacrificial babies into volcanoes and stuff. So they're trying to create an atmosphere for a certain type of people. This isn't designed for me and you. Keep in mind also, they're trying to portray that this is being done in a suburban area. And I'll show you in a second why. But they want you to think he's really driving around in a car. So there's movement shown, and he could very well be driving around in a car. But the thing you've got to remember is when you're making a highly polished video, a lot of people don't like to shoot outdoors because you can't control the light, because the sun dips, behind clouds, it comes back out, it starts to rain, it stays, you see these guys in movies going, I'm losing my light. So there's a better chance than not that this was actually shot in a studio inside a building with green screen and lights shining in on him, so they can control the quality of the light, control the softness of it. They've got soft boxes all around the car. They've got all kinds of diffusers to make it look heavenly and placid and peaceful, and put you, the viewer, the chief executive officer, at ease. And more than likely, they put that sound of the car rolling down the street in post, because that's another thing, road noise. Now, I don't know how many streets you've driven down in a big city, whether it's Detroit or Chicago or New York, but there's usually ambulances driving by, there's cars honking, there's people screaming, there's street people coming up to you, banging on their windows to wash your windows, all kinds of things going on, and there's no way you can control that in the real world. So this is more than likely shot in a studio, and they've either in post made it look like the car is bouncing, or they're bouncing the car in the studio. They've got it on springs, or they got people sitting outside the car shaking it. So now they've got a new shot. you got a shot with a cameraman looking down at the man's hands. Now, this is another tight shot where they probably just moved the same camera into the back seat. And they probably did this to start, right? They probably started it this way, got this out of the way. It's considered B-roll. So they got a guy sitting next to him in the seat, pointing the camera down as he dials his phone to check his balance on his bank account. Now, another thing I want you to notice here is he's got cufflinks, which, you know, your traditional person doesn't wear cufflinks unless it's implying that this is somebody of importance. This is somebody who's got money. This is somebody of prestige, because he's got gold cufflinks in his shirt. So his shirts are custom made, implied. He's got cufflinks, you know, the whole 9 yards, to imply that this is an important person. And if you're a chief executive officer from XYZ Corporation, you're going to watch this, or they hope you're going to watch it, and they hope you're dumb enough to watch it and go, you know what, I better invest in Grace, the Autobot. I'll see. So this is Detroit. I think this is Detroit, because I think this company's headquartered in Detroit, and I'm pretty sure that's the Detroit skyline. But it's B-roll. It's either they got it off of stock footage somewhere, like off of Pond 5 or Getty, or they're just in Detroit and they drove by and they just drove by the building and took a shot of it.
Morning. Thanks for calling Harper Valley National Bank. My name is Grace.
Grace!
This voice is not human. Well, isn't that the whole point of the video? I mean, who produced this? Like some high school kids? That's the whole point of the video, that this is a bot, right? So are you trying to impress executive officers in a corporation, or are you trying to imply that they're idiots and they can't figure that out for themselves? I mean, these men and women at the top didn't get up there because they're idiots. They got there because they're psychopaths and sociopaths and they're bloodthirsty freaks. So this voice is not human. Really.
Jesus H. Christ.
Are you kidding me? You had to put that in there, dude. This is so amateurish.
How can I help you today?
Yes, last night I was entertaining some clients, and I think I left my wallet at the restaurant, and to be...
It's not a recording either. Okay. But this is the whole point to a bot. It's not a recording. It's live. It's interacting with you on a live basis. Again, I don't understand. I mean, I'm not a chief executive officer, and I know a little bit about bots. I can pretty much figure out that it's live, not Memorex.
Safe, I want to replace my debit card.
So the angle has changed. So they've gone from a tight shot. This is, I guess you'd call this kind of a medium shot or medium tight shot. So they've zoomed out a little bit. And the lighting has changed. It's a little bit more of a sharper focus on him, but it also shows he's casually dressed. He's relaxed. He's got the white shirt on, the blue power sports coat, the white leather interior, and he's driving down through some suburban area as he's checking on his bank account with Grace, the Autobot. And the shot again is from the front passenger seat. Meet Grace, your artificial call agent.
Grace! Before I can help you with that, I'll have to authenticate you, okay?
Okay.
May I ask who I'm talking with first and last name, please?
My name is Chris Johnson.
So they cut to, I guess, what would be screenshots of Grace interacting with a live person, live on the air. So they must have had somebody back at the office, monitoring this call. And the bubble down here says managers can supervise Grace's conversations in real time. So they must have live people that oversee the bot to make sure the conversation stays on track with the robot and make sure that there are timely responses replied to him. Because when you're a live call center agent, if you don't respond in appropriate amount of time, you get written up. Especially if you don't say, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. And they don't want a lot of silence in the phone call, so you get punished. You get flogged mercilessly, verbally flogged and written up. And this video is 4 years old. But that is kind of like lame. It's almost sarcastic.
What was the name of your first pet?
Professor Sparkles?
Okay, great. That's Professor Sparkles. All right, let me check that out.
See, now I think maybe they are driving around Detroit. I don't know. I can't tell. It looks live to me, but they've also got a light in the car now. They've got a light. You can tell there's shadows coming. I don't know if they are driving around because there's a shadow. He's lit from the left. And if you look down here on the right, which would be behind my head, there's a shadow cast on him. A shadow from his head casting down. So they've got a light in the upper left-hand corner of the cockpit of the car, or the back left corner, shining down on him and on his phone. So this is an entirely different shot in a different lighting setup than the opening shot with him in the car. Entirely different. This is... See, this is diffused light. Looks like a gray, rainy day. There's no light over his left shoulder other than what's coming in from the rear window. And now he's in a sunny environment. Oh, well, this shot, the shadow's gone. So the light has changed quite a bit. And another thing you've got to understand is that when you're shooting video, if you're in an environment where light changes constantly, especially in the Midwest like Detroit and Cleveland, like I'm in Cleveland, the light changes all the time. And you have to change your white balance all the time. You can't put it on auto white because your white balance will change in mid-shot and totally ruin the shot, so you'll have to do it over again. So I'm trying to figure out how they shot this from a technical standpoint. If it's live, I would think they had to stop and start over because the sun is out now. Before it wasn't out. So now he'd have to change his white balance to a sunny white balance. Unless, more professional cameras do auto white balance differently than the cheaper ones. I don't imagine they do because there would be an obvious change and shift in the white balance in the quality of the video. So this is an entirely new shot. This is back to the wide medium shot. Now they go to his chauffeur, I guess, and with a shot from the rear view mirror, which is probably not even in the same day. Because think about this. I mean, I've been in lots of cars, and right now these guys are surrounded by at least 5 or 6 cars, and you can't hear any of them out there. Now there is, audio reduction software they can use, but I'm pretty sure this was done in a studio, or they somehow made it look like they're driving around the street because they just put in the sound of the car rolling down the street in post, because there's no way you can control the sound and the light when you're in a moving car. That's why most movies that you see, the car scenes where they're talking in a car, you can tell it's obviously shot in a studio on green screen, like on TV shows and in Hollywood movies, because it's almost impossible to control the sound in a car or the light or any of that stuff. Another thing I'm going to check here is the reflections in the guy's glasses. If anything's moving past his glasses, and he's moving around.
Professor Sparkles. Oh my God, that's precious.
Oh, yeah. So precious. Oh.
He was precious.
I just submitted your request. All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. You are authenticated. Okay, should I go ahead and submit that request for your new debit card?
Yes.
On that card?
Extreme close-up. Let's go back to the extreme close-up and see if this is actually live. If there's anything moving in his glasses as they roll down the street.
Let's check on that card.
I don't know. It doesn't look like it to me. So they cut back to his bank account with $240,000 in it. And they were back to a tight shot, extreme tight of his face. This is to create an intimate atmosphere, like you're right there with him in the car. But the whole point to my video isn't... It's twofold. Number one, these are produced. These are highly produced videos with a particular message and with a particular audience. And in my opinion, this audience for this video is for higher-ups in companies that are looking to save money by reducing the headcount of their staff, replacing them with Autobots. So this is designed to appeal to chief executive officers, presidents, boards of directors, the upper echelons of major corporations that are looking for ways to upgrade their call centers and reduce headcount to save money. The other, so it's polished and it's got a specific audience in mind, a specific atmosphere there. They're creating an atmosphere with a guy who's clean cut, who's serious. They've got the glasses on him. They've got the casual dress shirt, white dress shirt with the blue coat in a white leather car being chauffeured around the city. So the executive officer, the chief, the guy at the top of the gallup top can identify with it. So they go, you know what, they subconsciously feel comfortable because they can identify with this guy being chauffeured around, because a lot of these guys don't drive themselves to work in a Buick. You know, they're not getting in a Honda or a Subaru like me and you and going downtown. You know, they got a driver. So they're trying to appeal to these certain type of people, and they're trying to put off a professional production to appeal to those people who feel, hey, if they can put forth this kind of message in a polished video, I want to do business with them. They're trying to get their business. And in some ways, I think they failed here because they're pandering. They're kind of talking down to people, or they're implying that if you're watching this, you're an idiot and you have to be told that this is a bot and it's not a recorded conversation. It's not a live person. But that's the whole point of the video. The point of the video is this. You know, the title to the video is Introducing Grace, an automated call center agent, right? You don't need to tell the viewer again, this is a recorded conversation. So they kind of failed in this video, but I'm sure it brought them business. I'm sure I can't say that every chief executive officer and president and owner of a business are the sharpest marbles in the box. There's a lot of backroom dealings and things that went on behind the scenes to get them where they got. And it wasn't because they were Boy Scouts and they were walking little old ladies across the street. I can assure you of that. So all of them are exactly scholars, you know, but they got there somehow. But they're not idiots. And so this video probably hit the mark somehow. But that's Grace, the auto attendant, and I wanted to kind of go over it with you because, you know, this is where the world is headed. Robots are taking over everything, and then they talked about this 50, 60, 70 years ago, and it's actually happening. And now where are we all going to work? I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have jobs. They're all being eliminated left and right as far as I can tell. So that is Gridspace, Grace, the automated call center agent. And I'm PTPOP. All four lobes of my brain securely bound behind my back. Auf Wiedersehen, baby.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?